Welcome back to the Create Harmony podcast. Let me tell you what you're going to find here. In this space, we settle into an intentional rhythm, and it's one that helps us savor life's blessings and ground ourselves in gratitude. If you're longing to settle your soul, you're probably going to find a lot here that you love. And if you enjoy being creative and having a little fun, there's a place for you here as well. Each episode will take a few minutes to celebrate everyday joys and remind ourselves to notice the goodness that's all around us. And today we get to expand that space a little wider. I'm going to be joined by a guest whose work and presence reflect much of what we value here at Create Harmony: connection, intention, and a deep respect for the rhythms that shape our lives. So wherever you are, settle in, take a breath, and join us for this conversation. All right, so this is episode 170, and I am your host, Sally Burlington. And today we've started having guests. We had a guest last week, and today we have our new teammate, Megan. She is with us, and I'm so excited for everybody to get a chance to get to know Megan and to meet her and to hear from her. So welcome, Megan.
Hey everyone.
Yeah, so we're going to start out. I'm going to tell just a little. This episode is called How It Started, How It's Going. So I'm going to give a little bit of background, which Megan's probably already heard, but just for people who are listening, about how we got to where we are and how we decided that a new teammate was needed. And then I'm going to let Megan tell her side of the same story. So basically, Create Harmony kind of started as me teaching workshops. This was pre-COVID, and I was teaching a lot of workshops. And then I got really into guided meditations and did that a whole lot during COVID because you could do that over Zoom. And then it grew and grew and grew. And then the podcast, I think, is maybe 4 years old, but it's been a while. We've been doing a few episodes, but it's always just me. It's me talking and giving little insights and what have you. And so for quite a while, it has been feeling like that a new teammate would be needed. And I mean, maybe the Holy Spirit was telling me that, and I was probably ignoring it because I just didn't know what to make of that. So then I sort of put it out there to the universe. Where can I find a teammate? And Megan, the way that we know each other is that our husbands work together. We both have husbands named Rob, and they work together. So I had texted her to say, do you know anybody who might want a job like this? And she said, let me think about it. And then time went on, months I think went by. And then she came back and said, did you find anybody for that job? And I said, no, but if you want it to be you, great. So here we are. Megan is our new teammate. And now I'm going to hand it over to her and let her tell sort of her version of that same story.
Yeah, thanks, Sally. So I have a background in finance, not meditation, ironically. And I had been working in finance for a really long time. I switched over into software startups. It was constant grind, especially during COVID, lots of ups and downs, highs and lows. And during COVID, I also had both of my children. So like March of 2020, COVID hit. My son was born at the same exact time. So I was navigating the corporate world while also becoming a mom, as many, many moms do. And I got laid off once when I was pregnant. It was a very appropriate layoff. It was like the whole team was laid off. And so was I. And that was when I was pregnant. I decided after that was my second child, to go back into the workforce. And then I had a few roles, and then I was laid off again. So in December, Sally and I are sitting at a holiday party talking about what she's doing, what I'm doing, and I'm currently unemployed. And Sally says, I really think that I could use somebody. Do you know anybody? And I have a lot of women in my circle who are looking for some additional ways to stretch themselves beyond what they're currently doing. And I thought about all of them, and I just thought, I don't know. Something made me hesitate and say, I'm going to hold off on telling her all these names of women who might be really great at this are, and instead just sit on this for a while. So I sat on it for a few months. I was like, I think that person's me, actually. I think that's going to be me. I hope it's going to be me. So then I messaged Sally and said, hey, I kind of want that job you were talking about. I, throughout all of my career, have done yoga, which has a very intentional element of reflection, and meditation is something that I strive to do more regularly. I love doing it. I just have not been able to make time for it as much as I'd like in my life. And so, anyway, a lot of what, Sally, you have been doing, I am drawn to naturally. So that is why I inserted myself into this
Love it.
wonderful, wonderful place.
Well, it is like a dream for me because what I love about Megan, what I love about you is that you have such an excitement for life and you're like an all-in person.
Excitement.
And I said this when
I'm a
we were
golden
first
retriever.
meeting. Such an all-in person. You just have so much energy and you get excited about things, and if you think you're going to do something, you're like, "Okay, let's do it." And that is really the kind of spirit that I felt like we needed just because so many of the ideas that I would have, I would think, well, I mean, should I do that? Should we try that? What do you think? And there was nobody to ask, what do you think? So it's wonderful to have Megan in the mix to be able to ask. And most of the time, she either says, I don't know about that. I don't think that's a very good idea. Or mostly she says, that's awesome. Let's do it. So, and she's brought so many great ideas. I mean, already we've made connections with people that she knew, and she's always one of the things that I've learned about Megan as we've been working together is that she has a lot of people that are under the category of best friends. So she'll say, well, my best friend's neighbor is going to da 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 da. We could call that person. And I'm like, okay, these are a lot of best friends, and I think it's awesome. Let's call all of them.
Yeah, I always have an opinion. I'm always excited about it, and I've always got a friend.
You have always got a friend. So, sort of what's happening, the way that we're learning to work together is that I'm still doing the most of the content creation because I'm more of an introvert, so I like to like get in a room and start thinking up, you know, ideas of what kind of content we could design. And Megan is connecting us with people. She is helping us be able to make connections. We went on a little field trip to a local mental wellness coffee shop, which is that's really not their name, but it's a coffee shop that says their title is Sip Through the Struggle. We went on a little field trip there and connected with some people that Megan knew, and we've got some local events lined up so we can talk about our brand and do all sorts of things. So it's been great. So Megan, I will let you talk a little bit more about what you think, how you think things are going with the two of us, and how it's
Yeah,
been for you.
I think that Sally needs a woo girl.
Yes, for sure.
And I am that woo girl.
Yes. And you are excellent at that.
I was never a cheerleader in high school, which is ironic because you would think that I was one. I think that so far it's been going really, really great. I think that Sally is incredibly creative. She has an incredible reflective side and is so intentional with her time, which I wish I was more of. Um, and maybe that's partially to do with seasons of life. Who knows? But
Yes, for
I
sure.
do think even if we were in the exact same position, Sally would be way more intentional and I would be swept through the wind like a leaf. Um,
But
and
you'd be so fun while you were doing it.
it'd be the funnest leaf.
Hmm.
But I think that it's been going really great because of the fact that you are so creative, you are so intentional. You have so much follow through and drive. And then I'm able to, I think, motivate you in some of the areas where I think we have quick wins and easy potential.
Love
Um, a lot of what I've done in the past in my career too has been like managing a program of things. So figuring out what the important pieces are and then pushing those forward and trying to get rid of the rest. If you get Sally and I in a room, we could talk about ideas literally. I don't think we would ever stop.
it.
We have
Mm-mm.
so many great ideas. So it's good to have two people to channel that energy and then figure out which ones are the right ones. And I think that between the two of us, we do a really good job at grounding each other and
Yes.
motivating each other enough to get the right things done.
For sure.
Yeah.
Last week we had Amy Cook on the podcast, and we were talking about our partnership with their mental wellness boutique, and that we said the same thing. We have no shortage of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Follow through on the ideas. Maybe we need to beef that up a little, but just no shortage of like, and then this, and what about this, and so we love creativity here at Create Harmony.
Yeah.
That's why the word create is in the title. So we like to make things. So Megan has just been awesome. You have just added so much enthusiasm and excitement, and we just love that. And infrastructure, because you have helped us get organized in a way. I did not have the tech skills or maybe just the project management software skills that Megan brought into the mix. So we've both been learning how to use Asana, and we've got all of our little tasks on there, and now Asana is running our lives, which is great. Or totally running mine. Megan's got a whole life outside of that, but um, but it's really great, and I love that. So that's been a big win, easy win for us.
Yeah.
Um, I thought that it was going to be really, really hard for me to figure out how to use it, but you just made it so easy. So that was great.
Yeah. I also think that one other thing that I help compliment you in is Sally doesn't love to talk about herself or her work
Mm.
as much as she should, because she's an
Maybe.
introvert and she's incredibly humble. It's helpful to have me promote what you do because what you do is so wonderful and so
Thank
helpful
you.
for people. And I can help make connections as almost like a third, as a bystander saying, look at all this great work Sally's done. Come and partner with her, listen to her podcast, come on her podcast, be a guest, whatever it is, and sees those new opportunities in a different light because of the
Yes.
fact that sometimes it's a little uncomfortable because talking about yourself or because
Yes.
you're just so humble. And that's
Well, thank you.
such
I
a
don't know
good
if it's
quality.
humble or if it's just not very confident. I'm not sure, but I did. I mean, I had a long stretch when after I got into the podcast of it would go great and I would record the episodes and I would feel really confident about it. I was like, oh, that was so good. And people would say they listened and, all the things. But then when someone would ask me, when I would be somewhere at a party, in the elevator, whatever, someone would say, what do you do? And I would just be like, uh, I would know what I wanted to say, but somehow I just couldn't get it to come out in ways that seemed like completely confident and whatever. So I've been working on that. I think I'm a little bit better. And Megan is a huge help to help me to just step into those shoes a little bit more, and that helps. That's
You're
a
in the shoes and they're fabulously fitting. So
well, good.
it's
Thanks.
great.
That's a huge help, and just help bounce ideas off and all the things. So
Balance each other out.
we do for sure. We do balance each other out, and we've talked about there's another possible teammate in the mix for later in the summer. We've been talking to another young lady that we both think is amazing, but she's relocating and doing some things, and so we're gonna just tease that right now, and then hope keep our fingers crossed that that actually comes together and that she comes to join us because she adds a whole array of other amazing and awesome skills that are gonna put so much wind in our sails
Yes.
maybe late summer. So we're looking forward to that. So I also I just want to circle back a little bit and say, Megan, what made you say yes to this? Do you remember what made you decide that it wasn't your friend or your coworker or whatever? How did you know it was you?
Oh, that's such a good question. It starts back a while ago. Um,
Okay.
so if I think about what I want to do in 5 to 10 years, uh, it's not work in software or tech. Uh, sorry if I ever go back into it, erase
Yes.
this from my record. But it's not to do that. Even though I think can be naturally gifted in that, I think that I want to apply a lot of what I'm good at in that space to like or uh, the nonprofit industry or an industry that helps people with a
Mm-hmm.
fundamental or foundational thing that they're struggling with, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I was thinking about what's going to prepare me for that one day, it this just felt like a good fit, even though we're not a nonprofit, right? You
Right.
help people with their mental wellness. And
Mm.
it just felt more in line with the space that I want to be in. Um, it motivates me uh, to my core as a human, not just motivated me for like a paycheck, right?
Mm-hmm.
To survive, motivated me as a human. Um, and I think the only thing that didn't make me immediately go, me, yes, was that her husbands work together. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, what
Let's
if
hope
Sally
that goes well. Yeah.
hates me? And so my husband always says that, I, like you mentioned, am incredibly enthusiastic about things and say yes to a lot. I sign myself up sometimes for things without thinking. This was something I really wanted to think through and
Yeah.
make sure it was a good fit. But I think from the moment you said it, I was like, that's me. And then I was just like, let's let this pass. Don't say yes to everything. And then it kept coming back and coming back and coming back. And I thought about my future and I was like, I think this is more in line than me becoming, a project manager or a
Mm.
program manager or a man, whatever I was going to do back in
Mm-hmm.
corporate America. It just felt way more in line with that. And it also felt way more in line with what my family needs right now,
Yes, I can see
which
that.
is balance, and you know joys in the little things. It just felt so in line with everything I'm going for in life right now.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, when I was at some point when we were talking with our new teammate, one of the questions she asked me was, what is like my biggest dream, my biggest vision for where Create Harmony could go? What do you hope happens? So I'm going to answer what I said to her, and I'm going to let you think about what you think if you have more to say on that. But my answer, my off the cuff answer was, I would love to think that at some point we move the needle on people's level of agitation. Like I would love to think that somewhere out in the world it wasn't just 10 people who were less agitated. It was like a significant amount of people who felt like they found the resources they needed to center themselves, to live in less fear, to not have to be so rushed and hurried and making all of their huge life decisions from a place of like, I've got 5 minutes. Let me see what I think about this. So that was kind of what I now whether or not we will actually achieve that, who knows? Maybe, but that's my big vision, and the how of that we'll figure out as we're going. So, do you have any thoughts to add about what your biggest vision is for Create Harmony?
Yeah, I love that. I think that is so spot on. I think that there's like two big themes that I see often with Create Harmony, and
Okay.
one is like slow down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Detach yourself from the noise of the world. And the noise of the world is, I think, what people view as necessary now. And it's not. Like, you don't have to look at your phone every second. You don't have to consistently be distracted.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to do that. And if we can help people to not be distracted by what we call life now, which
Mm-hmm.
is not life, right? That would be lovely. And then also we focus, I think, a lot on connection as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? And community and like the joy that the simple connections in life can bring to you. And I think also bringing that back to what I think of from my childhood. When I think of connection, I think of like going outside, playing in the grass with my neighborhood friends. Like if we can make people find peace in just like connection and slowing down and getting rid of, honestly, the technological distractions,
Yeah.
I just feel like if we could do that for the masses as well, that would be so incredible, because I think that's what's causing a lot of our issues.
Yes, for
We're
sure.
missing those things. And I feel
Yes.
like we constantly harp on them, and like bring us back to that. And I feel like the more that we can remind people of that, the better.
Yes. Megan, you're really, really good with connection. Like that word seems to come up. I notice for you a lot that connection is one of the things you're good at and one of the things you really need. And I think you really do bring that into the mix a lot. And not that I mean, I like connection, but I also need my own space and my own thinking time. So I love that you are such a connector and so into that. I think that really helps round out the offerings that we have in a lot of ways. So
Thanks, Lori.
I would love to know a little bit more. At some point, you don't have to answer this right now if you're not ready, but at some point, I'd love to know like what does connection really mean to you? But you,
Oh,
you may not, that might be too
good
deep for
question.
today's podcast. You can think on that a little bit. Maybe we'll do another podcast and we can say, what does connection really mean?
To
Um,
everyone.
yeah, to everyone. We could get other people to weigh in. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Um, because I think a lot of the problems that we have as a society is that we don't feel connected enough. We don't see each other. We don't feel a sense of belonging in the spaces that we dwell, and that's an issue. So
I feel we constantly focus on the things that make us isolated or different more so
mhm.
than we focus on what connects us,
Yes.
which
Oh,
is
that's
really
good.
easy to do, really easy to do.
Yeah,
Those are
that
the things
is.
that are generally yelling at you instead of the when you slow down
Right.
and you look through the through the
Tend to be.
grass, you can
Yeah.
see what's actually connecting you as a human instead of what's making you different.
Yes. Well, we talked a little earlier about the fact that we have so many good ideas and things that we want to do and all that. And I just wanted to hear if you have anything to say about anything you're most excited about from those ideas. What kind of stands out to you that you're like, well, I cannot wait until we, whatever.
Yes. I well, I think two things. It goes back to me being a connector.
Hmm. Really? How about that?
I'm really excited for a party.
Yeah. Who is it?
I am really excited about having more people on our podcast.
Mm,
I think that we've been talking to some people who are going to come on our podcast and just exploring some ideas, Sally and I. And first off, meeting these different people with all these different backgrounds and ideas and what wellness is to them and what they bring to the table is so fun and so
hmm.
incredible. So I'm super excited about that. And also, I feel like, what got me into my yoga practice way back. I took a class in college
Hmm.
and I took a tiny step in that direction. And like, however many years later, here I am still practicing yoga and I'm obsessed with it. Um, and so our podcast guests might help us take a tiny step in a direction we might have never anticipated for ourselves that might be life changing. And it might be nothing, but I'm really excited about that. Um,
Wow. I love that
and
idea.
yeah, just like a tiny little baby step.
I know. I'm going to look at that list again and think, what tiny baby step do I need to take? I love that.
Right. Once somebody gave me this book called Chi Running. It was
Mm,
actually somebody who works in her husband's offices. And then
mm,
I never knew so much about Tai Chi. And it's so interesting. It's just like the little things, and people are like,
mm-hmm.
oh, Tai Chi, it looks so boring. And when I read the book, I was so intrigued by it. I never thought I would be intrigued by it. And I by no means practice Tai Chi, but it's super cool.
But maybe in the
Maybe
future
one
you're
day.
going to be a Tai Chi guru. You never know.
Maybe. So
Hmm.
I'm really excited about our guests. And I'm also really excited about us potentially getting out there and in the field. So
Hmm.
um, we're planning on doing some pop-up events at places to have people learn about what we do, who we are, what we're trying to help provide the community. And that's obviously local to where we are, which is in Raleigh. But I'm really excited for that because of the fact that we'll get to maybe meet people that we wouldn't have gotten to meet and show them some of the tools that we have for them. Um,
Great.
and 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 then also even maybe be like, hey, do you want to surprise yourself every quarter with a seasonal subscription box?
For
Like
sure.
this can be a present to yourself. What's better than treating yourself to something? So I feel like the combo of those two things I'm really, really excited about. What about you, Sally?
I am probably the most excited about having teammates. So
It's
that
not just
is,
you.
yeah, I mean, all the things you said for sure. I'm excited about that, particularly our impact on the local community, just because those are the people that are right here at
Mhm.
us. And I'm excited about, forming more partnerships, making more connections. I'm definitely excited about and curious about I mean, I was looking earlier today at the list of potential podcast guests that we have, and I was like, oh, we need to get that one now. We need, and it felt like I just wanted to hurry up and get them all, because they're all really interesting and quite diverse. So we
Mhm.
have a wide range. I did tell Megan that someone reached out to me. This man reached out to me that specialized in the prevention of rodents. And I don't think we are going to pursue that one. That we put a pin in that because somehow that didn't seem like it aligned with the brand as much as necessary. But the rest of the ones seemed really really exciting.
We love what they do, but we
Yeah,
don't
we're glad that they're doing what they
necessarily.
do it, but we don't want to talk about it on our podcast.
Yes.
So, or at least not now. Maybe at some point,
Maybe
who
later.
knows? Maybe we'll venture in that direction. But anyway. So, okay, what about this? Is there anything about this work so far that has surprised you? Anything that you feel about that? Let me think if
Mm.
I can answer that. Is there anything that has surprised me? I'm surprised at how easy it is for me to have you. I mean, how much we've gotten done in just a short period of time. I feel like, oh gosh, that was great. That's
I
been
think,
surprising.
yes. I have been surprised at how much we've gotten done and also how much we have left to do.
Yeah. How many ideas we could generate in a 10-minute period. Yeah.
We give ourselves a lot of tasks.
Yes.
I also am surprised at when I was starting to do some of the work and just like sit with like, okay, how do we generate some of these ideas and how do we do it? I was surprised at while I'm working how peaceful I feel because I've
Mm.
never felt peace at it. I've loved jobs I've had,
Yes,
but
yes.
peace,
But this
I
is
don't
a
know if
different
I
kind of
would
work.
call it peace.
Yeah, this is a different kind of work. I agree.
And so it just felt so calming and soothing. And I was like, whoa, this feels good. And like, yeah, it it's great to like your coworkers, but it's also really great to feel like you're relaxing while working.
Yes, yes. I
So
don't always feel totally at peace while I'm working, but I have said on the podcast before that so much of the time, particularly when I'm just doing audio, I have to then listen to it again and edit it. And, there's a lot of me listening to myself. And so much of the time I'm like, you know what, you needed that today. Like the person that needed to hear that more today was you, and you should be listening because sometimes I'm like scurrying around like calm yourself and slow down, and I'm going 100 miles an hour. So I feel like one of the things that has surprised me about this work is how often I needed to hear the things that I ended up saying. And I guess that's just we can thank the Holy Spirit for that, I guess. But
yeah.
um
One other thing is I for my New Year's, I'm a big resolution girly. I love a resolution,
mm-hmm.
and nobody likes them. Like I also like icebreakers. Again, weird. I don't understand. Sorry if anybody else out
That
there
might be
likes
just you. Yeah.
icebreakers. Yeah,
Yeah.
my old team used to make fun of me, like, "Oh, here's an icebreaker, Megan. Go have at it. You're the only one who's enjoying it." But I set a New Year's resolution this year to be really intentional with my time, which
Mm.
I just realized is so ironic because I paired myself up with the most intentional person, Sally. And it's like so great to like have an influence. And that's been surprising to like have
Mm.
you as an influence in my life to be intentional when I was like, I want to be intentional this year.
Yeah.
And so that just dawned on me right now.
I love that.
Then
Oh, we're having real time insights. Look
real
at
time
that.
insights.
Real time insights. I love that. Well,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Well, do you have any questions for me that you want to ask or anything else you want to mention, talk about,
Um,
etc., share?
how it started, how it's going.
Okay, yes.
Would there be anything you would have done differently so far?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't I will say no to that, with the exception of sometimes some of the stuff we're doing, I'm like, well, why didn't I think of that? That was so like I've been doing this for several years, and that was such an obvious. Well, we could have done that, you know. So I guess I'll answer it like that. There's nothing that I would do differently about our working together, but just so many of your ideas and the way the ease with which they've come together, I'm like, well, shoot, man, could have been doing that for a couple of years now, but that's okay. We'll get there. I'll get there slow. See, I'm slowing down. I'm slowing down. That's what it is. I'm
Right.
getting there slowly.
Right. You are being
That's
intentional and deliberate.
yes, 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 for sure. And I was also in a different season of life now. I'm a little more, I was in a season of life where I was building a huge pool in my backyard and taking a leadership role in my church. So, and two of my children graduated from things. One graduated from high school and one from college. And that is no small thing, I'll say.
The seasons of life I have realized can really influence your capacity
Yeah.
to go out into the world. And
Hmm.
I don't think enough people give themselves grace for it.
I think that's a huge deal. I think
Mhm.
that is a really big deal that people don't always recognize that you're not, and not just the seasons of life, but the seasons of the year.
Yeah,
Sometimes, and we talked about that a lot in winter well-being, that when it's dark and cold, your body doesn't want to do all those things that you've put on your resolution list. It's dark and cold, and you need to rest. And then in the middle of the summer, maybe you do want to do that. So, I think
exactly.
that's a big insight. So,
Yep.
anyway. Well, thank you. Thank you for taking out time to be with us. And thanks to everybody who listened along. We have so much. You're going to be hearing about all of our good ideas. They're going to come together. And we are glad that everybody tuned in and come back next week. We've got more great stuff planned. And what I say always at the end, I'll say, until next time, peace.